I had the chance to be talking with the CEOs of both companies from Friday and through the weekend, and I can say this, that on the whole it looks quite positive. We were looking at it from the perspective of Saskatchewan's interests, and those relate, for example, to a head office. They relate to Canpotex continuing. We think that's important for the province and for the industry. And obviously, what's good for potash companies that are major players in our economy today, what's good for those companies by and large in terms of their workforce and in terms of their investment, can also be good for Saskatchewan's economy. And the potash industry has gone through a lot of challenges lately. We've seen, the prices have not been strong. We see perhaps what some analysts would consider to be pretty aggressive pricing from the Russians and the Belarusians, and that has put our own potash companies, in a bit of a challenging circumstance. And so now we see the creation of one of the largest agricultural companies, one of the largest fertilizer companies in the world, headquartered in our province, and I think it sets those two companies up, if the merger is approved, to compete quite well. Now, I will say this: we're going to continue to monitor this. This obviously is just the beginning of what can be a fairly long process. We're going to monitor it to ensure that and to see that Saskatchewan's economic interests are protected and furthered. But we do think there's real opportunity here, and I should say, I should give credit to Mr. Tilk and Mr. Magro, the CEOs, and to their boards of directors, because this would have been a complicated process to go through. And as soon as the leak came out, they contacted our government, and we have been in contact since. And so I'm grateful for that. And I also think they have demonstrated some leadership here in trying to deal with a challenging market while ensuring that Canada has a continued champion, an international champion. And that's the case here. I think over the last couple of decades, maybe we've lamented as a country the loss of so many national champions on the corporate side. Well, here's the creation, these two existing companies, granted, but I think here is a chance to solidify two existing companies into one larger Canadian champion headquartered in the West, with a presence in Saskatoon, with a presence in Alberta, and so that's positive. And finally, I'll just say, I'm glad we fought the fight we did 5 or 6 years ago, because now it has, without it, we wouldn't be having this discussion. There wouldn't be a Potash Corporation of Saskatchewan, and so there wouldn't also be an opportunity to create an even larger, more significant entity headquartered in our province, as might happen today as a result of the announcement.